FATEC Motion Workshop, Module 4, Motion Flow. The motion program includes 3 modes. This chapter will introduce Mode 1, Flow Control, which uses the motion table for control. Motion Program Command. Here are the basic commands for motion control. See the table for descriptions. Enable the function 187mfsys init to start motion control before using other motion functions. Here are the ladder functions related to Mode 1 of the motion program. Function 176mf flow start is the most important function for executing the motion flow. The advantage of motion flow is that it can be more completely displayed, monitored, and designed, and it can effectively achieve the designer's logic control and continuous motion control. When used in motion flows, it can be run at the same time as the ladder program and used in combination. Here is the motion control status diagram in flow control. After power on the PLC, enable function 187 to start motion control. When motion control is ready, trigger function 176 to run the motion flow program. When motion flow is running, use functions 182 to 184 to pause and resume the control flow. This section introduces common motion flow blocks. The flow blocks provided for motion control can be easily set up to handle motion control sequences or branching conditions. After starting the motion flow, the process begins with the start block, and each block is executed in sequence until the end block. Motion flow control consists of process blocks. Commonly used blocks are the start and end blocks, the positioning block, the standby block, and the go-to block. The individual blocks are connected by means of connecting wires. Click the positioning block to directly set the point table parameters. Standby block. Wait for the set time after activation. When the switch condition is established, the motion flow proceeds to the next block. Go-to block. When the go-to condition is established, the block is moved to the specified flow block. By using go-to blocks, a flow control loop can be created. First, demonstrate the basic motion flow control program. The axis settings are the same as in the previous chapter. 1 virtual axis. Unit degree. 2 decimal places. 17-bit encoder. 360 degrees in 1 circle. On the left side of the software, find Motion Flow under Motion Point and right-click to add Motion Flow 1. In the toolbox on the right, find the Positioning Flow block. Drag it onto the starting flow block and let go. Click the Positioning Flow block, select Point 1, and double-click Edit Point 1 in the preview window. Select Single-Axis Relative Coordinate Positioning Control. Main Axis Input 1. Enter 100 degrees for the target position. Velocity input 100 degree per second. The acceleration and deceleration time is input 100 milliseconds. Press OK. Toolbox to find the standby flow block. Drag it onto the last flow block and let go. Click on the flow block and enter 1000 milliseconds. Toolbox to find the go-to flow block. Drag it onto the last flow block and let go. Click on the flow block, and the drop-down menu selects Jump to Positioning Flow Block. the toolbox finds the end flow block. Drag onto the last flow block and let go. Complete a motion flow control program. Next, demonstrate how to execute the movement flow procedure that an A contact M0 has been added. In the toolbox, find Motion Basic and find function 187. Added DN coil M10. In the next line of the program, connect the M10 with the coil all servo on. Add an A contact M1. In the toolbox, find Motion Mode 1 and function 176. Enter 1 for Flow 1. Click Online Monitor and download the project. Once the download is complete, run the PLC. Open the motion monitoring table and enable M0. After the servo status shows servo on, enable M1. Observe the current coordinate changes. Switch to the Motion Flow tab to see the motion flow program running. Process blocks in execution are shown in yellow. Demonstration complete. After the enable switch condition of GoTo block is true, the action of block 1 is officially completed, and the next block is executed. If the condition for GoTo a block is not enabled, go directly to the specified block number. After the GoTo block condition is enabled, when the condition is true, it switches to the specified block number. Otherwise, the next block is directly executed. Next, demonstrate the switch conditions. Click on the GoTo flow block in Flow 1 to open the switch condition. Enter M100 equals 1. Click Online Monitor and download the project. Once the download is complete, run the PLC. After you start the motion flow, switch to the motion flow page. Because the switch condition has not yet been established, the motion flow stops at the GoTo process block. You can see that the completed flow blocks are shown in green on the monitoring page. Set the M100 to on. And you can see that the motion flow jumps back to the positioning process block. Next, demonstrate the GoTo condition. Click on the GoTo flow block in Flow 1 to open the GoTo condition. Enter M101 equals 1. Click Online Monitor and download the project. Once the download is complete, run the PLC. After you start the motion flow, switch to the motion flow page. Since the go-to condition has not yet been established, set the M100 to on, and you can see the end of the motion flow process. Set M100 to off and M101 to on. After you start the motion flow, switch to the motion flow page. Set the M100 to on and you can see the motion flow jump back to the positioning flow block. Set M101 to off to end the motion flow process. Set M100 to off and M101 to off. After you start the motion flow, switch to the motion flow page. When the motion flow is executed to the go-to process block and the flow block is green, set M101 to on. At this point, if the M100 is set to on, will the flow jump back to the positioning process block, or will it end the motion flow? Set the M100 to on, and the flow process will end directly. Because when the go-to process block is shown in green, the go-to is complete. At this point, it's too late to modify go-to conditions. Demonstration complete. Introduce parallel flow. The flow in the parallel branch will start at the same control cycle. The merge block will stand by until all of the parallel flows are finished. Add a new virtual axis 2 to motion network. Copy axis tables 1 to axis 2. Copy points 1 to 2. Change the point 2 main axis to axis 2. The target position is set to 400 degrees. Right-click on Motion Flow to add a new Motion Flow 2. Find the parallel branch in the toolbox, drag it to the last flow block, and let go. Click on Parallel Branches to select the number of branches, and select 2 branches. Locate the positioning flow block. Drag onto the left branch and let go. Set the positioning control point 1. Locate the positioning flow block. Drag onto the right branch and let go. Set the positioning control point 2. Right-click on the parallel branch. Select Auto Merge Branches. The toolbox finds the end flow block. Drag onto the last flow block and let go. Add an A contact M2. In the toolbox, find Motion Mode 1 and Function 176. Enter 2 for Flow 2. Click Online Monitor and download the project. Once the download is complete, run the PLC. Start M2 and run Motion Flow 2. Switch to the Motion Flow page. You can see that when the left branch is completed, move to the merge flow block and wait for the right branch to complete. Demonstration complete. Special relays check whether the motion flow blocks are executing and completed. When the block is in progress, the motion flow block is in progress, bit B activate. The special relay address is M16160 plus block number. The motion flow block is done, bit is activated before the enable switch condition is enabled, and is reset before the motion flow executes the same block again. The special relay progress is M12000 plus block number. Next, monitor the motion status relay. Cancel the switch condition and go to condition of the flow 1. Click Online Monitor and download the project. Once the download is complete, run the PLC. Start M1 and run Motion Flow 1. Switch to the Motion Flow page. Remember the number of the standby flow block. To open the monitoring chart, press the Deselect button in the Item setting. Added relays. The address is the block number plus 12,000. The name is set to DN. Added relays. The address is the block number plus 16160. The name is set to ACT. Run the monitoring chart. Compare the operational status of the standby flow block in the Motion Flow 1. Demonstration complete. Parameter mapping. Standby time. The table lists the item numbers of the parameters mentioned in this chapter in the mapping table. If you want to modify the standby process block wait time, in the mapping table. Select Flow block for table. Enter the block number. Select the standby time. Run function 198 to complete the mapping. Demonstration complete.